game is over, and the Chiefs' kingdom has firmly planted its flag on top of football's highest summit.
A lot has happened since this historic moment.
Stay-at-home order is now in effect for most of our area starting today.
Unless you have an essential activity to get to.
We've been through a lot.
Cases of COVID-19 are increasing here in the metro.
The number of deaths are also climbing.
This virus is killing people. This virus is taking people's lives. It's taking my family members' lives.
We've overcome a lot.
There is so much resilience in people that we don't often recognize.
All we can do is support one another.
We still have more to do.
I don't know what tomorrow brings.
But tonight,
ain't no better time to be great than today.
We celebrate.
We're gonna talk about this forever, baby.
A team that has brought us so much joy, so many memories,
it's been a long time coming,
and so much pride.
Thank you, Kansas City, we did it, baby.
The Chiefs are back.
This is our moment. Believe it. Believe that this is our moment.
On your home of the Super Bowl champions. 41 Action News.
We're going to go to Ariel Rothfield. Ariel, what do you have?
Dia, it's just destruction. You can see a group of protesters just trashing. They tore down an awning of what looked like a parking garage. They are jumping over barriers, and now they are moving back to Main Street. I mean, we have heard bricks being thrown at this building. We have heard glass clashing. Of course, we are trying to do our best to stay at a safe distance.
Tell me your name. Tell me why you're here.
My name is Missy. I'm here because I'm angry, and I want our voice to be heard.
What do you think police officers, maybe across the country, even here in Kansas City, are not hearing?
They're not holding themselves accountable. They're not holding their comrades accountable. They're not holding their co-workers and fraternity brothers accountable.
Firefighters right now are putting out the fire that was set to our car. As you mentioned, initially it was vandalized. We had thought we had parked far enough away from the plaza, but unfortunately this is the alley that protesters took once police started spraying. This is just... It's sad. From what started as a peaceful day when we all were here covering it has turned into this.
There you have it, the flashbangs, as they're throwing several of those. Police. Oh, I was just hitting the head with something. We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here right now.
So you've readjusted your location and your shot. What was that?
Well, someone threw a water bottle and it hit me in the back of the head. I'm just fine though right now. But things are very tense, and they got very tense, so we kind of booked it out from that area from where we are right now.
We do have links to help you find your polling place. You'll find that on our website, KSHB.com. 41 Action News is bringing you extensive team coverage this election night with crews in both Kansas and Missouri.
Every state is different. In Kansas, anyone can vote by mail. All you have to do is send in an application. But in Missouri, it's different.
This truly says it all.
We have seen record voting.
You did it. You made your voice known.
It feels good to vote, and I'm 44.
I just want to make sure what I have to say counts.
The lines were no match for your spirit.
Voters are lined up and ready to go.
I want to be a part of history.
The future, well, it hits home. It matters.
This is your life. This counts. My vote counts.
The voting is done.
The polls are closed. The ballot boxes are locked.
But as this story develops,
our team has both sides of the state line covered.
You've got a team cutting through the noise.
This is such a historic election.
Making sense of whatever happens next.
Latest results right now on your streaming devices.
And uncovering the facts so you can decide what's best. This is your vote, your voice, and your team. Only on 41 Action News.
We're teaming up with a panel of experts who will listen, offer ways to cope, and help you heal.
My overall goal is for us to normalize mental illness.
When we talk about mental health concerns, the conversation often includes suicide. In fact, last year, suicide was the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 to 34.
When I was in middle school, I had a classmate of mine who passed away by suicide.
That tragic experience led her to join the group 0 Reasons Why.
A teen who's already thinking about suicide
will feel some comfort if you talk to them.
This is often the hardest part of being a reporter. Knocking on a stranger's door, looking for an interview. And it's just one of the things these Kansas City high school students experienced for real on this project.
Working with the news, it's not an opportunity you get all the time.
It takes a lot of preparation, it takes a lot of research.
I didn't know that it went so fast. Like when you guys were explaining that it would be done probably in a day when we were working on it for a couple weeks. That surprised me a lot.
They spent time with our team learning how to set up a camera, discussing how to conduct an interview with a complete stranger, even asking tough questions of elected officials.
I learned that being a news anchor is definitely harder than you would think. I liked talking to different people about their perspectives.
And then, maybe most importantly, how to put it all together.
That's extreme, right? Like the words are just like, ooh.
Every dollar you donate will help feed a local family in need. We're kicking it off with a $12,000 donation. So if you're able, we hope you can join us. Help for Harvesters all day today.
The donations keep coming in. Look at this entire grocery cart full of perishable goods. Just came in the last few minutes from a lovely couple. I was going to ask their name, and they walked away so quickly. They just wanted to donate, which is so amazing. And this, by the way, is the way we're doing it this year in light of COVID-19 to keep safe. This is contactless. They put this in the cooler, and then when the coolers are filled up, which they're getting close, they'll put these in the trucks. So it's amazing to see these donations continue to come in like this on this first day. Logan Healy from Harvesters is here with us. It is amazing to see that, but the need is incredible this year, isn't it?
Yeah, the need is there more than, we've been doing this 9 years with Price Chopper and Channel 41, and the need's greater than ever in our 9th year. It's great to see people who have been doing this for 9 years and still come and shop and give us, a bag full of food, a grocery cart full of food.
It all started with you.
Andy's story started with a tip.
It would have looked like I committed fraud.
And now, this.
A 41 Action News I-Team investigation uncovers phony paperwork.
41 Action News. Investigations that matter.
Inflated customers' income on loan applications without them even knowing.
They got ripped off. Demanding answers.
Multiple Kansas agencies are now investigating.
Getting results.
Now the Douglas County District Attorney wants people to come forward.
That's the 41 I-Team.
It's unconscionable that the city finds this okay.
The world will not stop spinning on its axis if those files are made public.
41 Action News' complaint highlights the conflicting information from officials. For example, Attorney Bernie Rhodes points to a written statement Mayor Carl Gerlach made a few days after the deadly shooting. Gerlach wrote, "At this time, the Johnson County officer-involved shooting investigation team is conducting a criminal investigation." The mayor added, "These findings will be made public at the appropriate time."
What do you think about the mayor's statement?
False promises. He has not kept his word.
Instead of releasing the report publicly, our lawsuit complaint highlights the conflicting stories by officials. As the complaint notes, Overland Park Police Chief Frank Donchez and Johnson County District Attorney Steve Howe announced a few weeks after the shooting Jennison would not be charged with a crime. At that announcement, Rhodes points to Howe's release of what he called a fact sheet. In that sheet, Howe claimed as the boy backed the minivan out of the garage, Jennison was standing directly behind it. Howe claimed for that reason, Jennison feared he would be run over and opened fire in self-defense.
Based on the evidence that we have available, that was a reasonable belief.
He disseminated a false narrative is what he did.
Evidence in the case shows all 13 bullets Jennison shot went through passenger side windows. The back windshield Howe claimed Jennison was standing right behind had no damage.
In 2017, Kyler Eust was behind bars, charged with killing Cara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons. But it would be several more years before anyone would take the stand in Cass County, a source of frustration for both families. Meanwhile, Kyler's attorneys argue that during all this time, there were several other suspects who went ignored. As Cara Kopetsky's case evolved, her family's frustration grew.
It just solidifies what I had already suspected.
Which is what?
Which is that they're not doing their job. They're not trying to find Cara.
They questioned why it took a month for police to release security video from Belton High School the day Cara disappeared. And it wasn't until that summer that anyone opened Cara's locker, and it wasn't the police.
The janitor did, and he said, if you don't come pick these
up, we're going to throw them away.
Kara's debit card and backpack were found inside. Citizens eventually circulated a petition demanding the state step in and take the case away from Belton police. Then Missouri Governor Matt Blunt responded.
I think I mentioned the Highway Patrol and other state resources that we've made available to local responders.
Just because we don't respond to something doesn't mean we didn't do it. We are doing our best, working with the information we have to work with in clearing this case.
Belton police maintained they were following every lead. But in court documents, Kyler Eust's defense team alleges that wasn't the case, saying authorities quickly focused only on their client.
While the nurse is trained for emergency situations, he wasn't prepared for what he says happened after someone else nearby ran inside the hospital for help.
They told him inside, you need to call 911. And I was just puzzled, like 911, I'm in front of you, 911, and wait for an ambulance.
The nurse says a St. Luke's employee who happened to be outside stepped in to assist in performing chest compressions on Jennifer. He says that employee also sent someone inside for help.
And she yelled at him. She said, go in there and yell at people and get me somebody in here. Even after that, nobody showed up.
The nurse says first aid wasn't enough. They needed an AED and other life-saving equipment, all just feet away.
And then you look, and then you look, and then not a single soul showed up.
After several minutes of trying to get help from emergency room staff, the nurse says they gave up and called 911.
Both units en route. It's going to be in the parking lot of St. Luke. The funeral collapse. The fire's en route. Non-breather.
The I-team obtained the dispatch recording. The first call came in at 9:52 a.m.
Where's the person at St. Luke from?
And they said right in front of the ER.
The nurse we spoke with says help arrived 7 to 10 minutes after he first began CPR.
When you get there, you expect to get help immediately, not sit there and hope to God someone comes out and helps her.
Flash flooding hit several portions of the metro. You're looking at video from 42nd and MLK Street, right across from St. Luke's Hospital. Westport was one of the hardest hit areas today for flooding. Here's more video from earlier today showing one car submerged under the water at Westport and Mill Street. This is over by the World Market. The driver got stuck and had to get a tow truck to pull that car out. Businesses in that same area also reported mud in their front entryways.
Well, Dia, the water has primarily receded, thankfully, but you can see it has left a big mess. We are at the intersection, as you mentioned, of Roanoke Road and 31st Street, and there is still about an inch or two of water left pooling. It is slowly receding, but you can see mainly what is left is a bunch of mud, rocks, debris. I mean, this road looks like an absolute mess. We want to show you video from earlier when my photographer Giovanni and I got to this intersection. You could just see a massive pile of water. A business owner here at the corner told me it really looked like a river in his parking lot and at the intersection. So we're going to show you some surveillance video from even earlier than the time my photographer and I arrived here. You can just see cars trying to go through that intersection. The business owner at Patrick's Heating and Cooling Supply tells me several cars were stuck and they had to be pushed out by some Good Samaritans in some of those big box trucks. But right now, everyone is thankful the rain has stopped, and right now they are just waiting for the rest of this to recede.
One of the biggest issues and problem areas are these curves when you're getting up to the curve. So when you are laying down that salt, when it comes to your driveways and sidewalks, there are different types to use.
All that sodium chloride doesn't just disappear. It can enter our water and soil with major consequences for plants and wildlife. A U.S. Geological Survey study found average chloride concentrations in urban streams are increasing rapidly, often exceeding toxic levels. Scientists say road salt even played a part in the Flint water crisis. The water had a high concentration of chloride, which corroded the city's lead pipes. On top of all of that, a Washington State professor estimates the U.S. spends $5 billion a year to repair damages to roads from the use of salt.
We all want answers. That's why we're bringing city and community leaders to the table. Joining us tonight, Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas, Police Chief Rick Smith, Jackson County Prosecutor Gene Peters Baker, and Damon Daniel, the president of the Ad Hoc Group Against Crime. Thank you all for joining us today. This discussion comes just one day after the White House announced federal agents will step in. In fact, the press secretary announcing this, Operation Legend. It's an initiative named after 4-year-old Legend Taliaferro, a gunman shot and killed a little boy in Kansas City last week. We talked with this mom yesterday.
It's devastating. We have kids that are not able to even see the age of 10 just due to something that they're not even involved in.
The Kansas City Police Department headquarters is just across the street. Today I talked with Chief Rick Smith about budget cuts, protests, the video that prompted people to camp out in front of City Hall, and his message to those who are calling for him to step down.
I've served this community for over 33 years. I think I still have more to do, and I have no plans to resign.
Chief, I have to ask you about the video from 35th and Prospect. I don't want to get into too many of the details as far as what the department's response is going to be, but what was your feeling watching it?
Well, I think everyone feels it's unfortunate that a lady who is pregnant 9 months is involved in one of our arrests, right? We didn't ask her to get involved. She chose to insert herself in our arrest. At that point, our officer made the decision that he wanted to effect the arrest for her for getting involved.
I can't breathe.
George Floyd, killed on May 25th, pinned under a police officer's knee.
Kill me, man.
On video for 8 minutes and 46 seconds for the whole world to see.
Please. Please.
Beyond the pleas, have you heard the cries?
What's his name? George Floyd!
George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, was killed in police custody for allegedly using a counterfeit bill at a store minutes earlier.
It was painful. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. You see those folks, those officers, and they're acting like this is just part of their job and doing business. And you're like, it's not that. And it doesn't need to be that. You want to go there and just say, you know, stop.
I think for most people, it was the first time they had ever seen in real time the death of a human being. For the first time, people said, oh my goodness, they're not making it up. These things do happen.
It's horrific, and it's embarrassing, it's shameful that here in the United States in the 21st century, we have not overcome what King called that crippling legacy, and that's a very apt description. I don't think anybody saw that we would have that's the level of magnitude, the level of passion that I think we ended up having over that weekend and over the days that followed.
Protests erupted in Kansas City, much like in major cities across the country, calling for an end to police brutality and racial injustice.
This is just a community of people coming together to voice how they feel about it.
Don't let people tell you one thing and do another.
We're all the same people.
We have much more together than we have different.
When you know someone's been done wrong, do something about it.
Let me stay, let me listen to you, let me talk to you. I'm with y'all. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace.
The Putnam County Health Department saying it had to toss 143 doses after a mass vaccination clinic on Saturday. Another 1,500 doses had to be redistributed because there weren't enough arms for shots.
The vast majority of things go right every day, but it was unfortunate. It shouldn't happen. We got to make corrections.
The anecdote is again drawing attention to vaccine distribution in Missouri. So let's break down what's been done up until this point. The state says vaccines are distributed based on population. It's broken up by Missouri State Highway Patrol regions. We're in Region A, 23% of the population getting 20% of the vaccine. But aside from a clinic in Clay County, most mass vaccinations are happening far from the Kansas City metro.
It was hard because I love my children. But I'm making a sacrifice, not just for them, I'm making a sacrifice for my patients. Tell me if you have any pain when I touch your head.
We will come out on top. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. The Rebound Kansas City.
The Rebound Kansas City, it gives hope to small businesses, it gives us a voice. I just really want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart.
How do you even sum it up?
A year that started with celebration.
Feels like a never-ending test.
challenging the core of who we are.
Life as normal is no longer there.
Yet through it all, the resilience has taken center stage.
We're all trying to do good.
The tough times, though, are no match for our drive.
No justice! No peace!
Our spirit.
My vote counts.
And our strength.
We grow when we gotta grind.
Who knows what 2021 has in store for us?
At times, it won't be easy. But soon, the curtain will rise.
We will rebound.
All we can do is support one another.
We've done it before. We'll do it again.
This is your voice.
You helped me get my voice heard.
And this is your team. 41 Action News.